What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddy Live Show, episode number 155. I am here with Ingwo Nai Amy Rattigan. Is that how you say Rattigan?
Right.
That right? Okay.
Perfectly.
Okay, I forgot to ask it. Okay, perfect.
No, it's perfect. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Eddie.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm so excited to talk to you.
We were just talking about being on almost the same path. And
right.
It's really cool because, like I was saying, we always get asked to do pop-ups. And it's always like, nah, I don't want to go do that. No, I don't want to do that because I don't know anyone that's done it.
Right.
But now I know you, so...
Definitely, we can share experiences and stuff like that. And
Appreciate that.
Like you just said, we've been through the same path, literally, around the same amount of time, haven't we? So I am so excited to talk to you today, Eddie.
I remember going to Ing Juan Lu for the fish and chips and the mushy peas and all that.
Gosh, that must have been, 12 years, 10 years would it be?
It's got to be close to 12, I think.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, where does the time go?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Isn't it, right? Yeah. Just like some, years blend into each other.
So for those of you guys watching, I just added a new piece of kit here. Let me know if the audio's good. Please, I appreciate it. Hopefully Lucas is going to let us know as well. Life in Taiwan is on. Tyler in Taiwan. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. So, my gosh, how are you with spice?
Well, I'm going to be very, very honest. I'm not amazing with spice, but I'm always up for a challenge.
Awesome.
So, I mean, if you've got some spicy food, I'm up for it.
Fantastic. Well, we've got that. I mean, yeah.
Do you have milk or something?
Of course. We have horchata.
Oh my God, you do.
We do. We have horchata, and we have milk if you want to. It seems that the horchata seems to help a little bit more.
What's horchata? Sorry, I don't know what that is.
So horchata is like a rice water, milk, vanilla, sugar, cinnamon.
This is a very
it's
traditional
like a Mexican
drink. Wow,
yeah.
I'm excited to try that too.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, well, appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't even know where to start because, it's like we had our conversation and now we cut it off and it's like, should we talk about the same thing? Anyways,
We've got so much to talk about, I think,
amazing,
right?
Amazing.
So much.
So let's grab the first one before we start.
Amazing, right? So which
and then we'll dive in. So we can start here, so you can do drum or wing.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
So you choose, yeah.
I'm gonna go for this one. It looks very spicy.
So this one is just like a buffalo. It's pretty mellow. It's pretty chill.
Like sweet, kind of like.
Yeah, it's like buttery
spicy,
and stuff like that.
That sounds good to me. Yeah. So we'll try this
jump
one.
on in that. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I like that.
How are we doing with audio, guys? Hopefully we're all right. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Thank you.
It's spicy, but it's a nice spicy. It's a little bit sweet and a little bit. The chicken's really tender.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, we
like
played
that.
a lot with the chicken. Yeah.
Oh, Eddie, that's good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very nice.
It's always hard to cook for a chef. It's like, oh my gosh.
I don't know what you mean. Like, same with
so
you.
hard.
Like,
I've had. I remember in my Dan Shui restaurant, this one lunchtime, this like guy comes in like full chef gear. I'm like,
you kind of
what's
get on
up?
in this
You get
mood.
nervous.
You get nervous, and then you kind
I
of think,
do.
"Oh my God, am I doing okay?" I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, it's crazy. The craziest was when a Mexican family came in.
Yeah.
And they brought the grandma, like the Mexican grandma, and I was like, oh no, I have to cook for a Mexican grandma. I was so nervous.
They are the hardest, I suppose,
For sure,
because they know all these secrets and they know all the
Exactly.
the ins and outs of Mexican cooking.
Yeah,
and
they're like, at the end, she's like, I love it, but at that time we didn't grind corn. We had no idea how to do any of that stuff. And she's like, but you gotta get the corn tortillas. I'm like, there's no corn flour here.
Right.
And she's like, grind the corn, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
How are we gonna do that?
Wow.
You see, that's what I think is amazing about you, because Eddie was just telling me that you actually ground the corn yourself. I mean, that is like amazing.
We do that. That was kind of necessity. So quick story there. In the beginning, we had no corn tortillas, and then we had a guy import some like Mexican corn flour in.
Right.
A brand was called Maseca, and then apparently that brand is really high GMO, so Taiwan wouldn't let us bring it in.
Oh, I hear this
So
a
we
lot.
found an organic one, which was probably better. We brought that in. We had to get like an import license and stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh,
it's not easy,
right?
apparently,
it's
is
not
it?
easy,
Yeah, I think Lucas had been saying before, something like import and stuff like that. It was not easy to bring into Taiwan, right?
So we did that, and then we tried on plain. We're like, okay, it came. It was like fresh. Everything was good. Audio spot on. Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. I was here all day yesterday trying to get this audio on, so we're good.
Brilliant.
And so, so we had it, and we had it on plain, but then on plain it was so expensive, and like everything was really high cost. So they're like, well, you can bring it in on boat because that's what people do.
Right.
So we did it on boat, and then like it's just corn, right? So as soon as you open the bag, half of them were full of bugs. And I'm like, I can't use this. I can't use this. It's like,
That's half your cost gone right there,
half
isn't
of it's
it?
gone.
Right?
So again, it's expensive and it's not as good. So I had a guy who was helping me import. He went out of business. We kind of did it together. We did it ourselves first.
Yeah.
And a friend was importing, and I'm like, can you just do it, and I'll just pay you?
Right, yeah.
And so he did it, and then he kind of went out of business. And it was like, man, what are we doing here?
It's trying to find a steady like in-source as well. I mean, obviously both of us have got foreign restaurants, so it's kind of trying to. He keeps cutting like they've got no shipping coming in, all this kind of stuff, and it's just what did you do in the end then?
It's all the extra stuff aside from running the restaurant and the meetings and checking the food and all that.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's the details, isn't it? I think the little tiny things that you don't think about before you open a restaurant.
Exactly.
Right? And you learn as you go along.
You think this is going to be great.
Exactly.
Eventually it is. Eventually,
It definitely is. It's a very good learning curve as well, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
So anyways, it was good. We got down to like the last 10 bags, and the guy's like, I'm done. And I knew that there was a place that had corn, like dried corn, locally grown dried corn. I have no idea what to do with it.
Right.
So I call home, and I call some family in Mexico. I start watching YouTube. I'm doing all this research. And then in about a month, I just kind of tested, and I got this ratio, and it worked.
So you literally did that for yourself? You literally
we did that for ourselves. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So we just started and we had to test the market. We bought a really cheap hand grinder.
Yeah.
So it was like a kilo took like 45 minutes. That's pretty bad. But like
especially
you're
got a lot
sitting
of stuff
there.
To do as well, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting there grinding corn. And I'm like, well, I don't want to buy the $100,000 machine if nobody likes it.
So you want to just try before you buy, really, don't you?
So it's 1,000 NTs, like, you're growing. And then people like it. And it goes very well. So then I was like, okay, so now we got to find a machine. And it was crazy. And it had to find a Taiwanese machine.
But you did. You managed to find all those kind of things. So your like things now are just made out of corn.
Now they're just pure corn. We do like a simmer soak overnight with a little bit of like a calcium powder.
I love that.
And then the next day you wash it, you grind a little bit of salt, and you grind it.
It makes I've been here a few times to Eddie's restaurant, and I've tried. I love your like tortillas and all this kind of stuff, and they are beautiful, and they taste very fully corny. So
they're very corny.
You haven't been before, guys. Corny. That's not a
corny,
very good way to describe them, but
they're
amazing. So, and look, I can't believe all the effort you put into it as well. It's amazing.
I mean, chef. I'm not a schooled chef. Like I just cook with my mom, So people are like, oh, I always feel like, it's weird to be.
Oh, no, it's
like
sometimes
the
I
chef.
think mum's food is the best food, and you're bringing like traditional food to Taiwan, right?
We try to.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
But
I invited you here so I could talk to you about you. So, UK. I want to bring this picture up really quick here. Boom. That's a great picture. So right?
That is me when I was 2 years old.
Yeah, and you're loving food?
Loving food, literally.
From
day out
one?
of the womb straight into the kitchen. So I think I had a problem as a child. I was an obese baby because my mum said literally if I wasn't eating, I was just screaming all the time. She had to just keep feeding me, to the point where the doctor was like, stop feeding her. And I just remember being really small and just helping my mum in the kitchen like every day. She was very traditional. She cooked breakfast, lunch, dinner, and she was my inspiration. She really was. Like to see that, and same with you as well. You see your mum like
really, like I said, we have similar paths for sure. Yeah,
just loving doing it as well, and she just had so much passion. She never complained she was tired, and I just thought, wow, this is So this is me. This is my journey. I guess
it's beautiful.
This is
I
my
love that.
First day as a chef.
I got a bunch of pictures, but I want to do this one and the next one before we go on. Yeah, because this is I would say like 8 years old maybe.
That is exactly
8?
right.
Yeah,
so
I have a little girl, so
yeah. That's very good.
Good
It's
guess.
This is when I cooked my first meal actually. Mum took
really?
a picture.
Wow.
So in England we have like the Sunday lunch, right? The roast beef, Yorkshire puddings.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
So my mum, she taught me how to do it, and then one week she was like, "Do you want to do it yourself?" I was like, "Yeah." So she left me in the kitchen like all day to cook. I mean, she was very daring because I could have burned the kitchen down, right? She was a really That's what I loved about Mum.
I think we grew up kind of in a more of a different time. Like right now, it's weird. It's weird how, like I have my daughter. I've taught here, and it's just the time that we grew up, and we just kind of like bump our knees, no problem,
Exactly. Mum was like,
weird,
well, you burn yourself,
sound
you
like
won't
an
do
old
it
man,
again,
but
right?
I sound like an old man saying that, but it's like, I don't know.
It's different now.
Kids
You're right.
these days, it's like, shoot.
It's more protected, I think, isn't it? Right these days.
Yeah. So you always knew you wanted to be involved with food?
Definitely, yeah.
Right?
So from day one, I knew.
So tell me the story from being a kid who loved to cook. All of a sudden, you're going to school.
That's
school,
right.
like I know. I
Yep.
don't want to know. I don't know which schools, so that's kind of, maybe you can tell me a little bit more about that story.
So I mean, I always wanted to work with food. So I went through the school system, I was originally wanted to. It's a very strange thing. I studied to be a German teacher, actually, of all things. So I was studying German.
Teacher. Okay.
And halfway through studying it, I was kind of like, nah, this isn't. I always knew I wanted to do something with food, but people had always said to me to be a chef was quite a hard road. There's long hours.
Is it true?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, it's long hours, and people kind of tried to put me off, but it was always in my heart. Maybe the same with you as well, like
For
food.
sure.
You just
love
always
food.
knew that was your drive.
When someone has it. When someone takes a bite of it and they're like, this is really good. You're like, yes.
That is better than any money, isn't it? When you see someone eating something you've created, and
100%.
I got halfway through studying to be a German teacher, and then I was like, no, I just quit through my studies and went to catering college.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I was there for 3 years. So I studied British cuisine or European cuisine. Obviously, I learned from mum, but I learned more kind of how to cost things up, all that kind of stuff.
That's tough. That's a tough part because I didn't learn all that. So we just opened without having that, and we're just like, so that's a good skill to have.
I'm still learning as well because sometimes you want to be very creative. You want to put creative, and obviously that's the part that's a bit more dull, isn't it? And not as fun, right?
Of course.
You got to try and cost down and stuff. So I went to catering college for 3 years, and then I just worked in a few restaurants in England.
This was in the UK, the college.
The UK,
okay,
that's right. Yeah. So I went to I worked in a few restaurants, and then I met my husband actually.
Okay, so you met him in the UK.
I met him in Beijing actually. We met in Beijing. Yeah. So that would be 13, 14 years ago.
So you met him before you came here.
That's right.
Perfect. So we got the story timeline.
Right. Yep. So I met him 13, 14 years ago in Beijing. We met in a bar actually. It was me and two English friends. We were there.
Okay.
And we were playing poker. We were just playing card games and things. We were missing one person from the game. We needed 4 people. Okay. And I kind of saw him across the room, and there was just something about him straight away. Yeah, it was just straight away, that
connection. Okay.
Yeah, and he came to play cards with us, bearing in mind he couldn't speak any Chinese, I couldn't speak any English. But there was a feeling there.
Okay.
I think you just know, right? You know, right? Yeah.
I'm curious about what were you doing in China? Like, what brought you to China at that time?
I was working in a restaurant, and I love traveling, and I hadn't traveled for a bit, and my friend was like, I'm going to China, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah. I'd never been to Asia before, and I thought, want to try it, you know. So we went, it was literally the second day we were in Beijing, and then we met. We were there for a 2-week holiday. Okay. So we met in the bar. I mean, literally we were just friends. That was it. Nothing happened. But there was a feeling there I really liked him. So he came back to Taiwan. I went back to England. Okay. And we kept in touch by MSN. That's showing my age
MSN
now.
Messenger.
That's
all right.
showing our age.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
So that was it. So we kept in touch by that.
I love that.
6 months later, he came to the UK, and
he went. Oh.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he went to the UK. Okay. What about? Would this be around this time? Maybe.
You got
Is this it? All right.
This was our first photo together, actually. Yeah. So this was in Tiananmen.
Okay.
He took us he was kind of our tour guide. He took us around, obviously he could speak Chinese.
So he knew the area. Obviously
which was helped, So you can see in this picture, I just automatically fell in love with him, and
he's
kind of what
you're
the
googly
hell?
eye. That's good. It's a good one. Yeah. The googly eye picture.
So
it's
I was,
great.
yeah.
It's great.
I had no idea that anything would become of it, I just thought he was a nice guy, and we were just friends, and
that's amazing.
We kept in touch,
and
I realized I really liked him.
That's fantastic, right? So China, okay, well, let's get the next wing here, or else we're never going to eat, right? All right, so the next one is Chipotle.
This
one? It's that's true. We'll get one of those,
And I love it. It's got coriander on it.
It does. Yeah. So it's funny because people always ask me what's the difference between coriander and cilantro, and I think my theory is in Mexico, cilantro is cilantro, right? So when they translate it into English, American English, they would just say cilantro, right?
Right.
So coriander, is that the real English word, or is that something from the Indian side?
That's so true. See,
I don't know.
I never knew. I just obviously thought it was just the American English, the English.
I thought it was a different thing for the longest time. Yeah.
Because I think it was recently looking at recipes and stuff, saw cilantro and Googled it, and I was like, oh, it's coriander.
it's coriander.
You know, yeah.
It's so
but that's
funny.
a good question. I wonder if it has come from an Indian influence back in the UK. So
it's just a guess, but yeah.
that's a good way of looking at it. But I think I'm going to really like this one. It looks really sticky.
It's a pretty,
And it looks a little bit sweet, maybe, is it?
It is. It's like a little smoky. It's a little spicy.
Wow.
Add a little bit of honey in there.
Oh, God, yeah.
So it's pretty good. Yeah,
Right
that's a pretty popular one. Yeah, yeah.
That's great. That's sweeter. Really
Sweet,
like
yeah,
that.
that's the, I think that's the only kind of honey Swedish one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could eat a whole plate. They are really good. Really, really good.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.
Spicy, but nice. Very, very nice. It's your best seller?
The first two are the best sellers. The third one is a kind of our only fusion-y one. It's Korean. We'll try it a bit later.
Wow, yeah.
And it's funny because lately we had this new Korean family coming to eat, and then they saw that, and I'm just like, oh no, don't order it. And they ordered it, and they loved it. They're like, you guys sell the sauce and stuff? And I'm just like,
But don't you feel great though when you hear customers saying things like that?
Yeah,
and
it's like, you guys sell that? I'm like, I'll give you some.
You definitely,
and
it makes it all worthwhile, doesn't
I'll
it?
bottle it maybe sometime soon, but I'll just give it to
That
you.
sauce is good.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Really, really
Thank you.
nice. It's nice. So we do like pasta and things as well. When you see Italian people come in, I just think, please like it. You know what I mean?
It's so tough. No, it's really tough.
Yeah.
I mean, even for us, we get Mexicans that come in and stuff, and it's tough. I mean, some like it, some don't like it. It's tough to please. It's hard to please everyone.
Definitely. And also, have you had to like change your flavor? Because I know for us, like British food is very sweet and very, very salty. We haven't changed recipes, but we had to change like the saltiness and the sweetness for the local market, obviously. Have you had to change anything at all?
We haven't done so much of that, but we use local everything, so it definitely changes the flavor. Like, the local tomatoes are going to taste different from the tomatoes back home and stuff. So,
you adapt, right? Yeah.
Definitely, I would say salt level is probably lower for sure. Yeah, because sometimes some of the Mexican stuff is really salty. So when Mexicans come, they like it, but they take the salt.
They got like the salt shaker, and you think,
like salt. I'm like, I'm sorry, I know.
Exactly, we have to cater to the masses, right?
It's tough, it's really tough because if you don't have the right procedures down, like some of your chefs, they don't eat much salt, and some of them eat like a ton of salt.
Right.
So if one guy makes it, then he's like, oh, it's not salty enough, and then the other guy tries it, and he's like, oh my gosh, it's too salty. It's crazy.
It's hard having to get that just right, isn't
really
it?
Tough.
So everyone gets it out at the same kind of standard, really.
Exactly.
It's tricky.
100%, yeah.
And you learn as you go along, right?
Yes, exactly.
I love this one.
So in the story, you're back to the UK.
Right. Yep.
Soon-to-be husband is in Taiwan.
Yep.
Then he went to the UK.
He did.
To see you.
Well, he said he was going to. He said he wanted to learn English.
So he lied,
we were just
and
friends,
he's like, okay,
Yeah. So I kind of thought maybe he's got a girlfriend. I don't know. So he came and he got like a student visa, and then he came to stay with us because at that time,
awesome.
he came to stay in our place, and within like a week we were kind of together.
Of course.
Yeah. And it just. Well, since then, really, the rest is history, I suppose, right? Yeah, since then we were pretty sure quite soon on that we wanted to get married as well.
It's okay. It's all good, guys. Yeah, thank you. So he was carefully plotting it out. He's like, I'm going to save up and go to the UK.
Yep.
I'm going to stay at Amy's.
Yeah, yep, definitely.
And then by 1 or 2 weeks, hopefully the plan
is we'll be together. So I'd hoped it would be like, and he did. He did it,
Good
right?
job.
He planned
Good
well
job.
and he did it. So.
I'll have to buy him a beer for that. That's fantastic. Great plotting.
What about you though? Were you love at first sight too, or? What was it like
I had
for you
some
guys?
friends here. One of my best friends at the time. The problem with the show is do I have sauce all over my face? I don't think so. Okay.
Do I?
Sometimes I'll have a guest with sauce right here, and I'm talking to them, and I'm like,
It's worse you don't realize until the end of the thing, and you think, oh.
So basically, some friends introduced us. It was the two people that we knew both had a birthday on the same day.
Right.
So they rented this big place, this big bar. We went to a bar, so I met her in a bar.
Yeah.
But the funny story was the plan was to introduce us, but one of my really good friends was kind of like my wingman.
Right.
And he was still a good friend of mine, but he was kind of like a really shy, quiet guy. Not very outgoing. And when we went, he saw her and he was in love with her.
Oh gosh.
And it was like, awkward. It was crazy. It was crazy. And so he just went, and then everybody's like, that. Even her, she's kind of looking at me. She's like, ooh.
With him being so shy as well, like
He just kind of like went for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well,
that's
that,
then,
right? That's that. Yeah. So, yeah, like they never dated or anything, but you know, that was the first time I met her. It was a great. We became friends for a long time.
Yeah.
And eventually, the funny thing is funny with her actually. We went out for this date. Like we were friends, but we were kind of like, you know, close and dating. Nothing super serious, but kind of like, I'm like, oh, this could kind of be
definitely this
one,
could turn
right?
into something,
this could be something, right?
Yeah.
We went to this Spanish restaurant.
Yeah.
And we were eating, and then the marriage topic came up, and I asked her some questions about it. She asked me some questions, and I asked her, and then I'm like, well, what do you think about it? She's like, well, I don't know if I'll ever get married. And I'm like, well, why not? And she's like, well, because nobody wants to marry me, you know?
Oh, that
like,
was your like opportunity
that's
right
what
there.
she said. I'm
right?
like, well, that doesn't make sense. And it's just like, boom, like, what, why wouldn't somebody? I'm like, this is great. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, so she kind of like,
right?
we should get married. Yeah. And it was great. So that's kind of how that one worked out.
And it was here in Taiwan
It was
as well?
here in Taiwan,
oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I came here, what's up, brother? I've been here for about 20 years. So I came here at like 23, and I was just like, thank you. And I just came for like 1-2 years.
Right.
I actually was studying to be a police officer.
Oh, right.
I passed all my everything.
Yeah.
And at the very end, I failed the final exam because I was too young. And I said, what can I do? They said, well, you can't reapply for 2 years. But these 2 years, you have to get, you know, some life experience.
Right,
and
right.
I thought, okay, well, I finished my job, and I thought, you know what? I will take that job in Taiwan. I'll go out there for 1 year, for 2 years.
Right? Yeah.
Came out here, and that was like almost 20 years ago. It's like 2002.
Taiwan like catches your heart and then doesn't let you go. It keeps to stay here.
100%.
Yeah, there's something about it, right? You just stay, right? Yeah.
There was a time where I went home for 2 months, and it's like 3 weeks. It's like, this is great. But then like the fourth week, everyone's going back to work. Life is like normal again, and I come from a really small town.
Right.
So it's like, it's a great place. But it's like I'm there, I'm watching TV with my dog. Everyone's at work, and I'm like, I'm kind of on a vacation, but should I get a job or something? I'm like, what am I doing?
I totally know
it's
what
weird,
you mean,
right?
Yeah.
What's going on here, you know? So I did come back, and I said, okay, so I will probably try harder to learn the language. Yeah. And and definitely
Chinese is
eventually.
pretty good though.
It's not bad. It's not bad. You
yeah.
have to use it with the restaurant,
Definitely,
right?
especially having own restaurant. Obviously, your staff, you know, you have to communicate with them and teach them things.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, you know,
yeah. You have to use it, but also, I like to talk to the customers. Not everybody wants to talk to me, which is fine. Take care, Eric. Nobody wants. Exactly. That's exactly right. How you doing, brother? Good.
Cheers.
No, you're good. You're good.
Nice
You're
to
good.
meet you.
So yeah, like so. Sometimes people want to talk. Sometimes they don't. But I would always also try to talk to Taiwanese people.
Right.
And I also think that gives them a cool vibe of coming in here as well.
Definitely.
Because I don't think I've had any Taiwanese person at a restaurant ever want to talk unless they're serving you like some food or something.
Yeah, sometimes they just
don't really
you
want
can
to talk.
kind of feel it as well, can't you? When
yeah,
people
they don't want to talk.
Talk.
You're like, oh, that's
you know,
cool.
Fine, we'll talk a bit, and that's enough. You know, yeah. But I think you're right. Being here as well, it definitely helps a lot to be able to speak Chinese. You know, it really does. You know,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you learn yours?
So I went to
yours is
Shida
great.
actually.
Yeah. Oh, really?
But only for 3 months. I went to Shida for 3 months, and I opened the store then, and it was too busy. So literally, I think it was just from my staff, really. Like
how. From you landing here, from that time to opening the store, how long was time?
A year, actually. I think about a year, because when I first came here, I thought about maybe going into a restaurant, into a kitchen or something.
Working at someone else's?
Sure. But obviously my Chinese was like zero. And I thought, obviously in a kitchen, I don't want to slow people down, you know. Talk. And at that time, I didn't even think about going to a British restaurant or something, you know.
Okay. Are there any?
At the time, there wasn't.
None.
I don't know whether we were I'm not sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know if there's any back then.
Yeah.
So I kind of like taught English for a year, you know, while my Chinese, you know, it was the easiest option, you know. Just for small children. After that, we opened a night market stall. So we started on a night market. Like halfway through, I was the first year here. I remember just coming home from work one day and I just felt so wrong. You know, when you feel like you're not going in the right direction. I had that kind of feeling.
Sure.
So I sat on the sofa and my husband sat next to me and I just said, I just feel like I'm going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I really miss food. I want to do something about it.
Yep.
And he was not so happy in his job either.
Gotcha.
He'd already opened businesses but previously, so he had some business experience. I had none.
What was his previous business job?
He did like, what do you call it, pyramid sales or that kind of stuff.
MLM.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
all this
the best.
kind of stuff. Like,
that's like the best for marketing and sales. It's the best.
Yeah, and
I failed at so many of those, but
they're hard.
Using the things that I learned from there in the restaurant has been amazing.
See, that's great, and
it's
the
crazy.
skills you take for life, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
really are. So
Made no money, but
exactly at that time, right? Yeah, but it was kind of a free class, right?
For sure,
yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Yeah,
so he sold houses as well. He did like selling houses,
Beautiful.
pyramid schemes, you know. They all failed.
Pyramid schemes. All right, okay. I've heard that one so many times. Yeah.
So bless him, they all failed. But like you say, he took all the knowledge with him.
You learn a lot. Yeah.
So he sat on the sofa and he was like, I was like, I want to do something with the food. And he's like, well, shall we open a business? And I was kind of like, oh God, I have no idea, you know. And he said, let's just do it. And I said, what should we do? And he was like, let's just walk around and see what we could do. And he said,
crazy.
you know, we walked around a night market. And I remember thinking, oh gosh, you know, maybe we could do like milkshakes or something, because I always miss milkshakes in Taiwan, like from McDonald's.
Them, but it's like watery and icy, and I'm like,
it's all ice, right? There's too much ice in the shakes.
What is
right?
this?
Yeah.
This is not,
So I was like, I always walked around the night markets and miss milkshakes. I said, why don't we just do like a milkshake store or something like that? Because I don't want to go straight into a restaurant.
Into food.
Yeah, because it's a big, obviously British food as well.
Okay.
All I heard from people was, oh, British food is pretty, bland.
Fish and chips.
Yeah, that's all you've got,
pie.
you know. So it was kind of a big investment just to get straight into a restaurant.
Sure, so smart.
So we just did that. We opened a night market stand. So I think for a whole year I was working at this English job, and I'd finish work and then do the night in go to the night market.
Yeah.
But Eddie, you're similar as well.
That's exactly my story.
It's
exactly my story.
Stall as well, kind of.
I
right?
did. Yeah. Like maybe a year or two, like not far off from when you did it. We did the same thing, and I was coaching soccer. I was teaching English. Like the year we had the stall, I would teach kindergarten from 8:30 to 12.
Right.
Come home for lunch. My wife made lunch, and go back, teach from 2 to 4, and then I'd go back to the house. On my lunch break, I would prep food and stuff too. So then we would take all the food to the market.
Yeah.
We'd sell it. We'd set it all up, and at about 5-ish, I'd kind of leave my wife there selling, and then I would go coach football, for hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I'd come back and sell till like 11.
Oh my God, that's exactly
and it was like
what
1
we
year.
did.
Every day for a year.
It was like a year with no time off. Like,
no time off. Yeah.
'Cause it was like, you've invested in this business, you've got to keep going with it, and you know.
And the way we found our location was, we were living in Danshui, and we were just like walking around, and we're like, I wonder what these cost. We're in a night market, Yingzhuanlu, and then Laojie, and we're just walking around, and there was this, I think it was like Thai or Hong Kong, one of those milk tea places. Yeah. The one where they just kind of like.
Oh yeah, the latte, right?
Yeah, right. So they're just like, we used to get that and walk around, and we asked the lady, we're like, how do you get a stall here? And she says, well, you just talk to the person who owns the building. They kind of own the land. And I said, okay, cool. So how did you do that? She said, well, let me cut you off right there, because in like 3 weeks, I'm done. And this guy beside me selling sausages, he owns the building. So if you want this spot, it's available in 3 weeks. Just talk to him.
So that was so lucky as well. You talked to the right person.
Okay. So I talked to him, and he's like, yeah, these places go really quick. 33 grand a month for your one ping, you know.
And it was a quick decision, I bet, as well.
Yeah, we're like, okay, we'll go home, we'll think about it. And then like maybe 1-2 days, we're like, all right, let's just do it. So we did it.
We were the same. Literally, it was like that. You
decide
no today or that's it.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, okay, let's just do it. What's the worst that could happen? We'll lose a bit of money. And then,
exactly. But at least you try, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to try it. And
same story, really. Wow.
Well, we were the same. It was very quick. It was just a quick decision.
Yeah,
same thing, walking around, asking people, how do you do this? Not knowing anything at all,
exactly.
you know,
Never having looked for ingredients or anything, never really caring, just
Gosh, not even knowing where to start, really.
Yeah, calling my mom, I'm like, how do we do those again? How do we make this again? How do we make that again?
Yeah,
okay, well, how come yours is better than mine? Because mine's pretty crappy. Oh, you got to do this. Like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That's what I love about yours. It's just really just authentic, good, like Mexican food.
It's just mom stuff, you know.
The best, though, I think.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really think that.
Thank you
like
so much.
mom stuff,
I think everybody's mom is like the best cook ever, right? Like you go home, and even though I'm making the food from mom's recipes, when mom makes it, it's just like,
oh my gosh, yeah. Whatever mum does, even if it's just toast, it's like, oh, that's the best.
Like the best toast
Mum
I've
does
had
the
in
best
my life.
toast, right?
Yeah, and the butter, you're like, everything's perfect. Like mom,
definitely,
it's beautiful, yeah.
And also, I think Eddie, you started it in the same area as I did. Really, I remember hearing, this is crazy. I remember someone saying when I started my stall in Danshui 12 years ago, "Have you tried Eddys?"
Yeah,
and like Mexican food. And around the time I was opening, you were closing in Danshui.
Closing,
so
exactly.
I never got to try Eddie's food.
It's
at that
crazy.
time. Yeah,
it's crazy because I knew also of your place. I went in, I ate and stuff, and it was great. But we never actually met.
We never did
until like Lucas, the man over there, who just came to
he
support
introduced us.
This guy right there.
So I'm so happy as well.
It was really cool.
It's been like 12 years knowing of you and wanting to meet you, but never ever, and also being here as well and just not seeing you.
It's crazy, right? Yeah, it's really. We got a question here. How does the cleanup work? Where do you store your stuff and your food? How does cleanup work?
Cleanup, like in the restaurant, I suppose that is, right?
That must be,
So clean up in the restaurant. So we have like, I guess we learn as we go along, but we've got like strict like SOPs of how to, this got to be cleaned every day, and that just gets passed on to new staff and things like that. So that's how we do it, and I'm very thorough about that as well, which you are as well. You got to be, right?
Like I'm pretty thorough, but my wife is like, she's like
spot on. She sees
checks
all the
everything. She's like boom, 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 boom. Like we go to a restaurant, and she'll like go to the bathroom, and if it's like filthy, she's like, we're not eating here. I'm like, everything's filthy. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I'm hungry. just doesn't matter.
We're not going here. And
like,
I always think that as well. If their toilets on view and their toilet's dirty, what's the kitchen
it's
like?
Like what's going on?
Exactly.
The kitchen's closed off. She's kind of like
exactly. Let's just check. So it's very. I think that's really important, isn't it?
It is.
It's got to be clean. And I found also in Taiwan it was a bit more difficult because there's cockroaches and there's a lot more pests than there would be back in the UK.
Exactly.
So you got to be double on all the the pesticides coming every week and stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, it's not as easy.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Shishia. Bye bye. Yeah, it's crazy. Hold on, we got night market stall prep at your house. For me, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have a kitchen though?
We did some of the stuff at home. We had one of those warehouses, where So I just used to do it on the cart before I pushed the cart out onto the stall. I used to like sanitize the cart and then chop the salad, all this kind of stuff.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
That's actually why we moved from the night market stall because
cool.
sometimes you'd be chopping something, you'd see a cockroach on the floor, and I just thought we got to go into a proper kitchen now.
The sausage guy beside us. Like he would get frozen sausages from like the blue trucks. And he'd have this sink, and he would just turn the water on in the sink, and just that's how he would defrost his sausages. And there were multiple times where like a rat would crawl up his sink and like start nibbling at stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, man, you got a rat there, and he just kind of was like,
oh, not again,
and he still served it. I was like, no. That was when I'm like, we also need to. Get out of the market.
Definitely, because it is difficult, isn't it? Like,
you
can't control outside pests, especially in the weather. And also, I think the other thing of moving from the night market was the weather conditions, because obviously, it gets really, really hot. You've still got to open. It rains. You still got to open. You need the money. So it was, And I remember we opened, and it was like our kaimu, the first opening. It was raining, and we didn't think about getting an umbrella,
of course,
So my husband quickly went online, and he was looking for an umbrella somewhere, a big umbrella, and he found one probably in Santong, and we were in Gongguan. So I remember him driving on his motorbike. Got to this guy's house, and then this guy was like, "It's massive. How are you going to get it back to Gongguan?" And literally, he put it on his back and taped it. All around him.
Yes.
And we had no money back then for Ubers and stuff,
crazy. I do that. Yeah. I've done that many times.
Right. You find a way, right?
You gotta do it.
When you're short of money, you got to do it.
100%. Like we actually prepped at home because all we had was a stall. Mm-hmm. Like no inside space, nothing. So we'd prep at home, and then we'd load up the scooter.
Right.
And we had a really small scooter. And there was one time where I just I was carrying bags, and the scooter was loaded up. And then I was going down that Danshui tunnel, when you're going into Danshui, kind of have to go down and come up. One of the bags pulled the handlebars, and I almost went into the wall.
Oh god!
And I'm like, should probably get a bigger scooter. And then my wife's like, what happened? I'm like, yeah, I think we need to get a bigger scooter.
Right.
What happened? And I told her, and she's like, okay. So we got a bigger scooter, which I still use it now because it was one of those really Taiwanese ones where the front is extended and you can like load it up.
Oh, that's great.
So
you can
that's
put
what
all
I have.
your stuff
it's great.
and
It's just, like you could put like cases of beer and like dough and everything. It was great.
Brilliant.
It's
They're
the
great,
best.
and it
It's the
saves
best.
so much on like even
Great.
parking and everything. It's great,
Oh,
isn't it?
parking's tough,
What did you first sell, Eddie? Was it?
We do burritos and
and
we did like
things, yeah.
quesadillas and we did horchata and one other sweet thing, like a sweet sort of a tortilla.
But you already had a big name for yourself in Danshui because when I moved there, so many customers were like,
Really?
you got to try Eddys.
Wow.
You got to try Eddys. And that's how I
Okay.
found here from like one
Okay.
of our old customers. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, you've good stuff.
Wow, I
from
appreciate
the word
it.
go, I think.
Thank
yeah.
you. I'll take one of those.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We got a couple other questions. Eddie interviews female Eddie. Okay, well, I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah.
I would as well
Thank
because
you.
Eddie's great.
But yeah, the night market still prep all at your house. For me, yes. Prepped
Yeah.
everything at home because it was literally one ping with no anything. Like there was electricity, that's it. There was a stall and a table, and it was
It was
33
also
grand.
washing things. Do you remember?
1,100 US a month. It's crazy. Yeah,
It's crazy. How did
Washing
you wash
things,
things?
yeah.
Like that was so hot. I remember just being on the street, like trying to boil water and like,
Yeah.
oh,
We had to bring everything home.
of course,
Because
yeah,
there was
yeah.
we had a little sink like this big, which was and we insisted on making everything, so we were like hand rolling. It was
Yeah.
not the best concept, not the smartest, but
But you learn, right? You
yeah,
find
we got
a
that. We
way
got that
and-
here. So
And what do you? I want to ask you, Eddie. Like,
Yeah.
what? Obviously, those times weren't that easy. You know,
Yeah.
for us, I didn't find them easy. So there was
Sure,
quite a lot of
sure, sure.
inconveniences and stuff.
course,
you know,
yeah.
what kept you going, like through all that?
I wanted to. That's one of my questions.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's one of my questions for you. Actually, So my wife originally wanted to open a coffee shop,
Yeah.
and I told her that there's a lot of them, and as much as I do enjoy coffee, but I'm not a big coffee guy. So for me, I can't be all of a sudden a coffee connoisseur because it feels fake, and I
Right.
can't be the fake guy.
Definitely.
So she knew about the food, so that's why we did the Mexican food. And I was always thinking, this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year.
Yeah.
You know, let's keep going. Let's keep going this year. And then after like 5 or almost 10 years, my wife was like, you say that every year. I'm like, but it's coming. It's coming. We're very close. We're very close.
That's what keeps you going, right?
Yeah, just like we're very
Definitely.
close.
You can feel. You can almost. You're on the edge of it. You can almost
You're like,
feel
it's
it,
right
right?
there, it's right there, yeah.
Just keep going, right?
And then it's fantastic. And then, you know, COVID wasn't fantastic. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It was
For
a
any
challenge.
business.
Definitely,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy.
Let me pull up the next one here. Hold on. Dating after dating. What do we got? Boom. There it is. Right.
So this is our first shop on Indran Road.
Okay,
And
yes.
Actually, my husband spelt the name wrong of the
Yeah,
of my
I know.
name.
I thought so. Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
didn't even realise till looking back at
That's
the pictures.
awesome.
But yeah, this is the first day. I think we just literally cleaned all the inside of it, got it all ready, and that's our baked potato oven just there. We had that imported from England, and literally
Wow.
it cost like too much. I mean, the oven probably cost about what. 20,000 Taiwan dollars, but it
Okay.
costs like 40, 50,000 to just
Just
import
to bring it.
right?
It's like my tortilla press.
Definitely, yeah. Same with you, I suppose. Yeah,
Super cheap
exactly.
there,
Yeah.
but here it's like,
Right. I got it on eBay so cheap and then to
Yeah.
import it. So that was our first indoor shop. That was the first day we were just
That's
about
where
to
I
open.
went. Yeah, I was
That's
there.
when you went, yeah.
Yeah.
So that
I
was
love
the
that.
day. And I just remember, just didn't know where I was because there's so much planning and there's so much everything all at once, you know what I mean? And
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's crazy.
opening the shop, there's so many little details, isn't there? Like,
It's crazy. Like
God.
you don't even know.
Yeah.
I remember just how far back we go. One of our customers was like, "Hey, there's this new thing it's called Facebook. You should
Right.
check it out. It might help your business." And I was like, for like a year, I'm like, "Nah, I don't even want to look at that." And then after you use Facebook properly, you're like, "Whoa, this is."
It really does help.
helps a lot,
You know,
yeah.
thank goodness for the internet, especially
For
through
sure.
COVID as well. I think we both said before it helped so much. Thank
For sure,
goodness for the
for sure.
internet. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing.
This is our first store. Yeah,
That's amazing. That's a good
Yeah.
one. I love it. I love it. Let's grab the next wing and then
Oh,
we'll keep
yes.
going. Yeah. So this is our
Excited.
the Korean
Right.
one. Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's quite spicy then. If it's
It's definitely spicier
Yeah.
than the last one for sure.
so
Yeah.
this one, right? Yep. I'll
Yeah,
grab
whatever
one
you
here.
want. You can do the wing or the drum, whatever you want. Yeah.
So this looks spicy.
Yeah, it's getting there.
But I like it. It's not spicy to the point I can't take it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're
very
spicy, but you
Korean.
also want to eat good food, right? So
You see, whenever I go for Korean food, I would always go for like the chicken. And
Yeah, me
this
too,
is
me
the-
too,
yeah.
yeah.
It is.
Well,
I like that.
Well, we have Korean customers that love it. And the
You're
first
doing
few
something right.
times I was like, oh no. And just because one of my ex-staff, his family owned a Korean restaurant.
Hmm.
And I told him I love the wings. And he's like, I'll show you the sauce. And he showed me the sauce. And then I kind of tweaked it kind of where I wanted it to
Yeah.
be. And then it became this, basically. Yeah.
It's good, though.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh,
so
I
much.
really.
Thank you.
This is my favorite. I think
Favorite so
it's
far?
hard. It's my
Okay.
favorite so far. I love
It's actually a really popular one as well. Yeah.
And the chicken is so good.
Thank you.
Because sometimes you find like the wings and stuff, they're a bit
Super
dry.
Yeah, of course.
We've got this
And then
really.
you're like, you want to say something, but then you're like, well.
Yeah, definitely. This is not. This is like juicy, super juicy chicken. Amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, I like that. Nice one.
It's funny because one of my good friends lives in Danshui. He's watching right now. He's the one that said Eddie interviews female Eddie. And his son loves our buffalo wings. So they get buffalo wings all the time. And there was this one day where he had a business appointment at, I can't remember the name, but like a really fancy restaurant downtown, like a steakhouse. And he checked the menu, like, well, do they have buffalo wings? We're like, okay, cool. So he brought his son with him, and he had his steak, and his son had the buffalo wings. And he told me that, and obviously they were way more expensive, and it's a fancy restaurant.
Right.
He told me his son took a bite. He's like, this is shit. And he's like 10 years old. He's like, this is shit. I'm not eating this.
He knows his food,
He's
right,
like,
from
no.
a young age.
He's like, no. On the way back to Danshui, we're going to Eddie's.
And then it'll make you
So
feel
fun.
better.
He's like, no, we got to get real wings. What is this? No. It's like, ooh, it's so
That's
funny.
great, though.
It is fun.
I'm going to have
Do it, yeah. You're on the
because
horchata.
it's really
Give it a
good,
stir. Give it a stir.
But obviously, British food isn't spicy. I'm not
No.
a spicy eater, so I'm going to...
And it's not a straw. And you know what?
just realized that.
Every single person does that. Every
stir it.
single person does that. I swer.
But I'm glad you haven't got one of those plastic straws.
Night market
Ooh,
stall
that's
prep
good.
was at my house. Yes, it was. For me, Tyler. Yeah.
That tastes like Christmas.
Tastes
know-
like Christmas.
yeah,
I like
you
it.
know
Oh,
the
I'm gonna
feeling
write.
of, like, yeah.
That's my new marketing line.
Oh,
I
I
love it.
love that.
Tastes
That's
like
so good.
horchata. It tastes like Christmas. I'm gonna use that. I'm definitely gonna
That
use
is
that.
beautiful.
Thank
so
you.
it's rice. Sorry, what is it?
It's like a rice water,
Right.
milk, vanilla, sugar, cinnamon,
Oh, that is
Yeah.
great.
and it's really good for spice. Yeah.
Literally, the spice is gone. That is
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's pretty awesome.
Oh, I like that. You sell that here, right?
Yeah, we do. We had that
I've
at the
never tried that
stand,
before.
and we made it, and it was really good at the stand. And this one day, I don't know. I'll tell the secret. So this Mexican guy comes up and he tries it, and he's like, "It's pretty good. You know, what kind of milk are you putting in there?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Just like milk, right?" And he's like, "Switch it for that canned carnation one." And I'm like, "That's weird." And he's like, "Just try it." And I'm like, "Okay." We did that, and we're just like, "Wow, okay." There was something was
Oh my
missing.
God, and it was
And,
that.
it was that, yeah.
Give it that extra lovely
It's
sweet
got that little
taste.
creamy, like
Oh, it's
not
good.
not the like super, like there's two, right? There's like condensed and evaporated.
Right.
The one that's super sweet, not that one. It was that's exactly what he said to me. And he's just like, you know that one that's like really sweet, and we boil it and we turn it into cajeta. Not that one.
It's the other one.
It's the other one.
other one.
Yeah,
I
that's
totally
exactly
know,
what he
the
said to
canned
me.
one, like,
yeah.
yeah.
And I was like, that sounds weird. I'm like, I don't know. And we tried it, and we're like, ooh.
That's good. It gives you that
Pretty good, yeah.
after, like, kind of like, it's
I
not
don't know what it
too
was.
sweet, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
perfect. It's just,
yeah.
like, right.
Well,
and
thank you,
Oh,
yeah.
I really like that. Oh,
Thank you.
beautiful drink.
Thank you.
Love it.
I have to thank my Mexican ex-girlfriend for introducing me to horchata when we went to Tijuana. Okay, Tijuana.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
All right, we'll
so
take
good thing
that.
came with the relationship. That's good.
Yes,
Yeah. yeah.
Mexican eggnog. All right. Yeah, maybe. It's funny because I didn't even know about eggnog until I came to Taiwan. People are like, oh my God, Costco's got eggnog. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I tried it and I'm like,
I was the same.
was like-
I think I'd heard about it on American
yeah.
movies or something like
Yeah,
that.
for sure, yeah.
And they had it in big cartons or something
yeah,
in,
and
in
you're
Costco.
drinking it and you're like,
yeah. Sweet. Like, yeah.
yeah. Can you guys hear us? Are you good? Yeah? Okay, good. Yeah, so beautiful. So where are we in the story? I think we're here, right?
Ah,
or did we skip something?
right.
Oh, we
Yeah.
skipped. That's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think you got married before the Ing John Lu, obviously,
But we did,
right?
so we married, and this
Okay,
was our.
okay.
So we had a wedding in Taiwan and also one in England. So
Okay.
obviously, family couldn't,
Of
there's a lot of older
course.
people.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
things,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So you had the big one in Taiwan, and then a very simple one in the UK,
This is your family,
that was
right?
the one. Yeah, that's my mother-in-law next to me. My father-in-law next to my husband, and then these were just some friends as well of ours.
That's great.
So that was 12 years ago, I believe.
12 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
12 years ago, I think. Did you have the big Taiwanese wedding too?
You know what? We were gonna do it, and then my wife was just like, let's just open the business instead. And I said, okay, sounds good.
All right.
So we did that.
Exactly.
Let's do that. But now I still get that. I never wore the white wedding dress. I've never had that. So
would you like to? Would you like the wedding thing? Or?
Yeah. I don't really care that much, right? I'd rather buy one of these, But
oh my God,
but I get like,
same,
oh my gosh,
right?
I'd rather buy one
go traveling
of these.
than
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, put that money onto
it. Let's travel, yeah. But so I got to pick like a big one, like a 15th anniversary or something. That's pretty close. And then we probably have to do something. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Because,
congratulations as well. 15 years almost.
Long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's coming up. Yeah. Okay. So maybe 20. But yeah. So we'll do a big something. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. That's okay. He's good. So wedding, that's marriage one. Wedding picture 1, wedding picture 2.
Oh, yep.
Right?
So that was the day. And I think, it was a big culture shock that day as well, I remember, because I didn't realize it was going to be so big. I think
it's like a bunch of dresses and stuff, right?
I mean, I remember going in there, and because I love food, obviously, we went and chose the menu. My husband was like, "You choose. What do you want?"
Of course, you're the foodie.
So excited, we had shrimp and all that kind of stuff. And I literally remember on the day I was absolutely starving because as soon as I remember first going into the dressing room and they gave me this like plate of fruit and like biscuits and kind of things.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh no, I won't eat that because I'm going to have my food later."
And
they
were
like, "Yeah, I want real food later." And they were like, "No, you should eat it." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to ruin my main course." Not knowing that I would not get to eat any of the main course because you're always wearing, swapping dresses and having your hair done, and I ate
bouncing
nothing.
around and drinking with people
Definitely,
on an empty stomach.
On an empty stomach,
Oof,
right? Yes.
rough.
I remember leaving our wedding and just going for a hot pot.
He's good. He's okay. He's okay. He's good.
So yeah, I was starving on the wedding day.
Let me pull up the next one here. Bam. These are good ones, right?
Oh,
I think
nice.
that's an English breakfast, right?
This is actually last time I went back to England.
Okay.
Like an English breakfast. Yeah,
okay.
I love it.
And the main thing, like is the blood pudding,
oh,
right?
Is
it?
the black pudding.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Is that available here? Like I've never.
Actually, in Tianmu, there's a guy that does
Churchill's,
it.
right?
Churchill's.
Okay,
he does a great black pudding. Actually,
Lee I know Lee Wilson pretty well. Yeah,
and he's awesome. And his sausages are great as well. We get
That's
his
right.
sausages
You
for
get
the
his
restaurant.
Churchill's?
Yeah, he's awesome. So his
Shout out
black
to
pudding's great.
Churchill's.
So this is we also sell this at the restaurant. We got
Nice.
the traditional British
I was
breakfast.
going to ask. Beautiful.
We do.
And how
have
does it
that.
does it sell? Like how does it go?
It does
I would
actually,
imagine people
yeah.
would be like, "Oh my God, British restaurant, we got to get the breakfast."
Definitely, but
right?
we've also found it's very strange. Our Taipei store it sells really well, but our Danshui store not so well. I don't. It's just obviously different clientele.
Probably the people don't know. They're like, let's just.
Definitely, they kind of think, well, that's strange. Why would I eat a breakfast at like 3 in the afternoon?
Yeah,
Because in England, it's an all-day breakfast thing we have, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's one of my things I miss the most is the all-day breakfast.
Oh, yeah. I love them. You can't beat a good breakfast, yeah.
That's my daughter.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
She really is. She's got lovely eyes. Beautiful.
She's pretty cute, yeah.
And she's
Thanks.
12, is that right?
She's 10.
10,
Yeah. Beautiful. Let's get the last. We'll go on the next one here. That's the food picture, and this was one of the ones I missed that earlier. I was going to bring that up.
Yes.
That's you washing on
That's
Angel
me
Lu,
washing.
right?
So this is that's it. Yes,
Yeah,
this was
I know
literally the day before we opened. It was literally just get everything ready, and I think we were going to sell our cart. That was our cart at the side. I was just cleaning it all down, ready for someone to pick it up.
Yes.
We sold it somewhere in Kaohsiung, I think. Someone took it. Like, yeah.
We did the same thing. Yeah.
Right, just sell it for a bit of extra cash.
You sold it. You're like, hey, this is great, and they're like, well, I'll give you. I think we paid like 12, and they're like, well, I'll give you like 7.
Like 8 or
like,
7. Yeah, we were
like,
the
I'll
same.
take half of that, but if you want to give me that, I'll take it. Yeah,
just take it off my hands.
Just take it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
I remember it being quite an emotional moment though, seeing it like being wheeled away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
'Cause it's
For
kind of
sure
like your first stall, isn't it?
It is. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. This is exact. The stories are.
Yeah.
So
really similar, right?
Almost the same.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
identical. And then this other picture is me. Like I've been teaching cooking classes in Taiwan. I haven't done for a few years.
Okay.
Been a bit busy.
Do you like doing that? The cooking classes?
I do actually. Yeah, it's quite nice. To see people that are to see you teaching someone something and they do it themselves.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
Good. Very cool.
So
Very cool. We got well, we'll go through the last two as well since we're here. Yeah. Bam, you got pop-up 1.
Okay, so this is in, I think this is a bar in Xinyi, I think. Yeah, this is Xinyi. This is Xinyi A bar.
Okay,
so this is our, we've got a permanent store there at the moment.
Permanent one?
This is a permanent one,
yeah. Okay.
So we, after opening the restaurant in Danshui, through a few years later we opened in Xinyi. And then we've gradually just got into department stores, and department stores literally are just selling like desserts, scones, this kind of thing.
Yeah. I'll save the last picture for later because we skipped the point from stall to restaurant. I don't want to miss that. So we can, I want to get to that, but that's a big one.
Yeah.
So you decided after what, 1 year, 2 years with the stall, you're like, let's get a physical location.
Definitely. So it was a year. Yeah, it was a year in Gongguan, and then we went to Danshui because I love Danshui. I don't know about yourself.
I love
just
it.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places.
So we had a friend actually had a shop close to us, and she saw it come up, and she said, "Why not? Do you want to check it out?" So it was a very quick decision. We just closed our stall, moved to Danshui. And it was nice to have a kitchen, not have to transport stuff all the time. You're on site, and just cleaner as well. You know what I mean? Like,
and you
not
can
having
take care of the kitchen.
Definitely,
you can take care of your products.
Yeah. So we were in Zhuanlu for 2 years, I think, and we realised that because it was such a small, literally it was supposed to be a takeaway. It's
quite expensive as well, right?
It was expensive, yeah. It turned out more expensive than on Old Street, actually.
It did, yeah. That's crazy.
It was a lot more expensive. So we weren't looking for a bigger place, and something came up on Old Street.
Yep.
And it was perfect for what we wanted.
Okay. Nice.
I wanted to focus more on like sit-down meals. People can here.
You want to give the atmosphere.
Definitely.
Right? That's the same thing we felt.
I wanted to see people just enjoying the
have
meals
a beer and be like, yes, let's have this. And you can have a coffee. I can have a beer or a margarita or something.
Exactly. You see people happy, enjoying time with their friends and family, and that's really what I wanted. So it was a big jump from the one in Zhuanlu to Old Street. It was a new menu and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And obviously training people up as well, because no one knew anything about British food.
Of course.
Yourself as well. I mean, do you obviously teach all your staff?
Yeah. So we usually we have to train everybody up.
Right? Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, I remember. It's not so much now. There's more Mexican popping up, but in the beginning, sometimes now still we'll have customers that come in and they'll be like, "Oh, how chill," and you say, "Oh, thank you so much." And is it your first time eating Mexican? They're like, "Oh no, I've had it before."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh wow, great. Where?" And they'll say, "KFC." And it's like, because they have like a wrap, and then anytime there's a wrap in Taiwan, they say "mo shiga jianbing" or something, right?
Yes.
"Mo shiga whatever bean," right? And it's like
they think they've tried the real deal.
So they're like, well, that's it, yeah. And you're like, well, it's not really, but
it's a bit different
that's
to that.
Cool. Yeah. And the funny thing is, we started with burritos.
Yeah.
Which is like beans and rice and cheese and different kinds of meat or whatever. And that's, I think, not one of our better sellers anymore. Like, we still have it and it still sells well, but like tacos and different things like that, they sell so much better.
Right.
So I think if we did tacos in the beginning, we might have a bunch of night market stalls with just tacos instead of this. So it's still possible.
It's for the best, right? Maybe as well. I guess we were exactly the same. We sold milkshake and potatoes, and later, years later, it turned out scones were the best seller. It's funny, isn't it? You don't realize like what's going to be like, what's going to hit and miss, really, do you? Yeah.
One quick thing was, we have our enchiladas here, right? And traditionally, enchiladas are made with corn tortillas.
Right.
When we started selling them, just before, people kept asking, enchilada. And I'm like, but I don't have corn tortillas. And they're like, oh, but your flour ones are so good. I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of like blasphemous. It's not that, it's not, I don't really want to do that.
Right.
People just kept asking and asking and asking. And then I just said, you know what? Okay, screw it. Let's just, the exact same, but instead of a corn tortilla, we'll use flour. It's like shot to the top of the menu, best seller by far.
Oh my gosh.
And then when we did get corn tortillas, we switched it back to all corn. And then the sales went, and I was like, they're like, what happened to your enchiladas? They were so good. Now they're not good anymore. I'm like, no, but now that's the real way.
This is how we actually really have it, right?
That's the real way. And they're like, no. And then we switched it back to flour, and it's like,
isn't it funny?
It's crazy.
It's so funny. We're just the same. Like we did in Shilling, they have the baked potatoes and they put like loads of cheese sauce on it.
Yeah.
We started with our potatoes with cheese sauce, and that's not the British way at all. They're like dry with like the cheese on top.
Sure. Yeah.
They went really well. And then I thought, you know what? I had a lot of British people coming in, and I was kind of like, this is not authentic.
You feel like,
I feel a bit. Oh, sorry guys.
Yeah.
So I just was like, let's do it real British style. Totally.
Just
Everyone
boom.
was like, "Where's the cheese sauce? This isn't
What
a proper
happened?
British potato," you know. And you're like, "It is."
It's
like, you know.
I have this one story. There was a family went to my other restaurant, and it was like a Taiwanese family, but they spent some time, I guess, in the States.
Yeah.
And they came in, they got like nachos and enchiladas and all this stuff. And I had to, in Guadalajara, where my family is from, it's like a sandwich,
Yeah.
they call it a drowning sandwich. It's just covered in sauce. It's like a wet sandwich.
Oh, that sounds
right?
good.
Like it's called a torta ahogada, right? So I had a guy, he made bread. Everything was, good. And, I was fooling around with it. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So we had it on for special.
Yeah.
And one of the first people to buy it was the mom of this family. And so everybody's eating and the mom's just like, she's not eating the sandwich. And I nailed it. It was exactly how it was supposed to be. And she's like, it's always the worst when you can hear like, oh, I want to talk to the laoban.
Oh,
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, no.
You're like
talk
kind
to
of
the
like,
laoban.
you think, I really want to scuttle away, but how does that look to my staff?
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I'm like, how? It's a malama.
Yeah.
You know,
You hope
you're
it's
like,
going to be nice, right?
you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, this is not Mexican. And I'm like, well, where I come from in Guadalajara, my family, actually, I have family that sells that
Yeah.
actual sandwich.
Right.
I'm sure it's better than mine, but this is what we,
This is how we do
from
it.
where we live,
Yeah.
that's like the signature street food. She's like, no, it's not Mexican. And I'm like, well, actually, it is Mexican, and that's where my family comes from.
Yeah.
And so she's like, no, it's not Mexican. So we do it like 3 times, like explain the same thing. And I'm just like, how about I just take it away and you don't have to pay for it, And she's just like, fine. And she takes it away and she's like, hey, I know Mexican. I lived in San Diego for 3 months. That's what she told me. And I'm just like, oh,
We'd had the same, like, yeah. I think also as well because in in your countries, there must be different variations of different dishes.
Of course,
right?
every area has a different
Definitely.
thing. Yeah.
And they, like, for example, I've been to London, they've tried it this way, and I'm from Lincoln. We eat things a little bit differently.
Sure.
I've had the same thing.
Same thing.
Well, I studied in England for like 3 months, and this is not proper British food, and you kind of think, what can you say though? You're like, okay, thank you.
I'll just take it off.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Let me just take it off the bill.
Yep.
And just
Bite your tongue.
please don't
Yeah.
ever talk to me again.
It's tricky,
and that's
right?
it. Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah. So funny. Let's grab the next one.
Yes,
That's
right.
the
So
ghost.
this is very spicy.
So
now,
this
is it?
one is, there's a company, a local company called Empress Hot Sauces.
Okay.
And this is one of theirs. Yeah. So this is made with ghost.
Ghost.
It's not super ghost pepper.
Oh, ghost pepper.
It's not that super. It's not like it's
Lucas
not
is
super,
laughing. Is it
yeah,
really
the ghost
spicy?
pepper. So it's the second last one. It's not quite the last one yet.
Right.
But go for it. Whatever you want.
Right.
You want to do a drum or you want to do the
I'm gonna go for this. You want this this time?
I can
I'm gonna
take-
go for the
You wanna go for this? Sure.
Wow.
This one's made with ghost pepper. Yeah.
I've never tried ghost pepper before,
That was
but like,
sneaky. I love it.
let's
Yeah.
try this.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. It's like more sour, lemony kind of like.
They make it with a local lemony sort of a peppercorn. I can never remember the name. I'm sorry. While you try that, I'm going to read these comments real quick. You guys have to have mad admin skills to set up restaurants, hire folks, and manage the budgets. Inspirational. Yes, my wife is much better at the managing budgets part than me. Sourcing ingredients in the U.S., we have food purveyors. Excuse me. Yeah. Is it hot?
It's nice,
You
but
good? Yeah.
very spicy.
To choose from. Yeah, we do get food distributors coming in. I remember when I was in Danshui, we had this food company come in and they're like, hey, we got these tortillas, you should use our brand. I'm like, oh, we make our own. I'm like, okay, well, we've got this salsa. You should use ours. Like, well, we make our own.
Yeah.
And well, we should, do this. Potatoes or whatever. I'm like, well, I like to cut our own. We cut our own,
Yeah.
And they're just like, why do you do all that? It's so much work. And they're like mad at me. I'm like, what do you want me to say? I'm sorry.
We like homemade good stuff,
I like good
right?
stuff, Yeah, it's so funny.
It's true. I love
So-
the fact that you're very passionate about that. I'm the same. Everything homemade.
And I eat
good
here
for
all
the
the
body.
time.
Right.
My kid, my daughter, my wife eat here. All the customers that come, it's never really had anybody say, hey, you know, something's off or whatever.
Definitely.
Because it turns over pretty quick and
Yeah.
we make everything, right?
Right, that's
so it's
it.
really, yeah, it's pretty good, yeah.
Also, I think as well, just for you, you know, you can't sell something that you don't feel right in your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't do it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's tough.
There's got to
It's
be
so
something.
tough.
I mean, that was great, but
Thank you.
that's
The
getting
next one
very
is-
spicy on my tongue.
The
now.
next one is probably 10x on that, but that's okay.
Oh.
So American, Western, Mexican food versus true Mexican. Pretty interesting. Thank you. So close, but it can be so different. Always there for the quality. Full value Dan. What's up, brother? He's a full value Dan is like a Filipino American who lives in Taoyuan. He's a good friend of mine, and he is a crypto YouTuber. This guy's got like this channel is fantastic.
You see,
yeah.
this is what I've been really interested to look
Fantastic,
into, crypto
Oh,
and
I
stuff.
gotta
Maybe
give
I
you
should
Dan's
look
link.
him up. Yeah, let's get in touch.
You can get Dan. You can get Dan. Dan's the
yeah.
man for sure. And it was funny because when I started talking with him, he was like, he comes here all the time. He loves the food, and I was like, oh, this is great. So food is kind of like the connection to everything, right?
Isn't it so lovely? You meet some great people, I suppose, in your restaurant as well.
That's why I did this, because there's so many cool people, CEOs and CFOs and like comedians and just professional athletes. I'm like, this is great.
It's wonderful.
Let's just chat.
And you meet so many different people, and it just opens up so many doors as well, doesn't it? You know,
100%.
I love it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So one restaurant to two restaurants.
Yes.
1 to 2.
It was hard.
How was that jump? Okay.
It wasn't. I think it was one of the hardest things.
Uh-huh.
I think we did actually, because Dancho was going well. We'd had it open a few years. It was running smoothly. A lot of customers were saying, "Why don't you open in?"
One more chata, yeah. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. It was so we kind of got a little bit of like maybe cocky, thinking, "Oh, it's going well. You know, it'll go well in Taipei,
Same.
right?" Yeah. So we did. We literally transferred that menu to Taipei. You know. And me and my husband had been saving for a house for like God knows how long, 5-6 years, you know.
So expensive here.
Yeah. So we decided, you know what, let's just put that into the second store because we didn't have any investors at that moment.
Yeah.
So we put it into the second store thinking it's going to go well.
It's going to be like boom, 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 boom.
And, you know, after the
doing,
kaimu and everything. Hello. Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Where are you from? Norfolk. Oh, no, I just met your wife. She's lovely.
Yes.
She's lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fantastic people, yes. They come every Tuesday.
She's a lovely couple,
Super,
yeah.
Super,
Really,
super
really
nice.
But it was hard because I went in with a mentality thinking it's going to be okay, you know. And so I trained up a new team when we were in Danshui, ready to open.
Yep.
Opening day came, no customers. After a few months, no customers. And literally our money was, thank you so much.
It's not a straw.
This is beautiful.
It's not a straw.
I remember learning this time.
Yeah.
But it was hard. I remember just literally at the end of some days we'd literally just taken $75. Cheap,
Okay.
£75.
Yeah, I've had 0 days.
Right.
I've had 0 days.
And I had like 4 pastry chefs to
and a delivery where you have to pay cash. And
literally.
You're like,
And I was like, I do not know where this money is going to come from. And you know, just I remember at that time, me and my husband were like, what we're going to have to think on our feet. We have staff to pay.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we weren't paying ourselves. I'm sure you know the feeling. You don't pay yourself for years, right?
I think I worked for free for 10 years almost. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You do, yeah. And also I think that it was, just to see that. And I think the hardest thing as well with it is you've got to keep upbeat because if your staff get a whiff of you, you've got no money.
It's just like
they're going to be like, right, we're leaving.
not a safe
you know,
place,
and I
we're
can't
gone.
afford for you to leave right now. I need you here.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So it's kind of that inside you've got that like
It's crazy.
fighting.
It's
You've got to
crazy,
be positive, but you've also got to find a way to, you know.
Yeah.
So I literally would work all day in the restaurant and take jobs at night. I would just do one-on-one. Went back to teaching English.
Yeah, sure.
I sold all my jewelry. We sold everything we had really to try and pay the staff.
Oh wow.
But you have to, don't you? Right?
Similar story. I
yeah,
love it.
you have to. You just think, right? I would never not pay my staff. You just can't do it, right?
For sure. No. I've
You
always
just
paid
can't.
them, everybody on time, all the time.
Just
and
one
it's just
thing you
like, I
can't.
hope this
Yeah.
weekend's good because
Exactly. Yeah.
if
Or
it's a good weekend, there's actually, we should be able to pay everyone on time.
Literally, yeah.
If not, we got to max the credit cards out.
Yeah,
for like,
you do.
we did many times.
Yeah, loans and credit cards. You know,
Yeah.
we got into a lot of debt with this
loans that
second
were
shop.
just like,
Yeah, and you have to keep going. You know,
Yeah, of
every
course,
day the doors go open. So I think it was hard admitting failure. So we did, the second shop was a failure. We opened in Dongshu around like Zhongsha Dunhua around there.
Gotcha.
Not really knowing that area was kind of going down a little bit, you know.
Yeah. And
So
expensive.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of one day we were just like, you know what, quit while we're ahead. You know, we had a decision to make sure we move it to somewhere else, or should we just call it quits, just keep Danshui, you know.
Yeah.
So we kind of saw a place in Xingyi, and it just looked perfect, and it was a lot cheaper than the one in, you know.
That's great.
So we thought, give it a go. Why not? Let's sign for a few years. And it took off straight away. We were we almost gave up. We literally almost gave up. And it went really well. Yeah.
Amazing.
So we moved to Xingyi after 2 years of being around Zhongqiao Dunhua. And it not straight away, but it was a lot better. It was a lot more stable. Yeah. So it was hard. I think that was hard.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
Same thing with us. We had 2 stores twice, and I think a couple years ago we closed one just because we were overworking and we didn't have enough people, and they were both stable. But I don't know, it just seemed it wasn't right. So we definitely want to try it again.
Yeah.
But I want to go home first. I want to go visit my family.
You haven't been home for how long?
It's been 5 years.
5 years? Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen my mom. It's a long time.
I bet you're so looking forward to it.
I am. Yeah, I'm very... And my daughter, I mean, yeah. Like, my daughter is 10, and we've been home, like 3 times. Like, for her. It's weird, but... When you have the business, it's crazy.
Definitely.
Like
it's not as easy to just pack up and go, right?
My friend's best friend, you know, I'm supposed to be the best man. Couldn't go because we had no money.
Right.
You know, it's just like there's no money.
I know. Isn't
Where's
that
it gonna
hard,
come from?
though, when obviously there's either a death or there's something back home and you just can't afford. You could afford to go there, but you couldn't afford to keep your business running. It's so hard, isn't it?
It's very hard.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
You know.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy because for us, you got to keep it going, you know, because if you close, then that's zero income, but it's like minus.
Yeah, it is.
You need to make like 10 or 20 or 30, whatever grand just to break even.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you know, whatever the number is, you got to make that.
Exactly.
So if you close,
that's
you're down
the day,
that.
yeah.
So the next day you got to make that plus
what you lost the day before, right? Yeah.
And I think the restaurant's like the ultimate humbling experience.
Yeah.
Because you can have like the best day. You can make like 100 grand or 150,000 or whatever, something massive. For me, a massive anyway. And then you're like, yes, and everything's good. And you go out and you eat like a burger at like midnight and you're like, yeah. Then the next day you wake up and it's like, it's zero again. You're like, gotta do it again.
It's an emotional roller coaster, actually, isn't it? You know, exactly. We've got to do it same again. We've got to have a full restaurant again. We've got to do all this again, you know. Exactly. And you have to.
Remember yesterday, who cares? You got to do it again.
Yeah.
Because if today sucks, then yesterday was for nothing. It's like it's crazy.
And I think you touched on earlier as well was like when you first started, you were fresh and everyone wanted to interview you. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some news maybe came for you as well, things like that.
So many.
But after a while, you kind of like people know about you, which is great, you know. But then it becomes to the whole point of like you got to keep finding something new and fresh to keep pushing it forward and getting business in and things.
Exactly, which is one of the reasons why I did this, because I have a lot of friends in the restaurant business and I like good food, so I just want to share good food.
Wonderful.
Started with that.
Yeah.
And then I like UFC, so I know a lot of the fighters here, like the MMA fighters, so I wanted to get them, you know, some eyeballs. And then obviously the YouTube journey, I love it. I love marketing and all that. And then you get to meet like the kings of YouTube.
Yeah.
You know,
like
aka
Lucas.
this man over here, Lucas. And you meet these guys and they're so nice.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you think, oh, these guys won't want to talk to you, you know, but because you're a taco guy for like 10 years and that's all I knew. What? Like when I started this, I remember one customer was like, does the world really need another podcast? That's what he said, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
But there's room for everybody,
Thanks so
and
much.
everyone's got
Thank
their amazing story to tell.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so.
And yours especially is something that people want to hear, you know. And or do you find it a creative output? I mean, I do in my YouTube as well.
Yeah,
find it a creative, also like you know, it's something to put your creative thing into it, and meeting people is a great part of it.
And it's fun, and it's like, and you get to meet cool people, and just spending a little bit of time with this guy, with Lucas, like becoming a little bit more. Like before, I was just like, this is just for fun. Yeah. But now I've become a little bit more like obsessed with like headlines and stuff like that. Like I've been because
and like getting into the
I really care. I really care about that stuff. And now, like before I met these guys, I didn't really. I was just like, okay, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3.
I was the same.
Yeah. And now it's like
putting anything out, like you know,
now it's like, guys, I really like this. And then I get to meet, you know, you, and you've got a nice big channel, and I check out some of your videos, and I'm like, I love that stuff. I want to do some of that stuff.
And
so
it's
really
great to
cool.
just keep learning as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like to meet other people and you learn, oh, they do it like that, or I do it like that, and it's a learning process, isn't it? And it's fun as well. It's like a community, isn't it?
I think, and it's you wouldn't know until you kind of plug into that community how nice everybody is.
Yes,
because
definitely.
you see like 100,000, 200,000 subscriber people, and you're like, they're not gonna.
Oh, I totally know what you mean.
They don't care. They're not gonna
exactly.
know.
They've got big
You gotta
channel.
bribe them with food or money or something.
Right.
But they're super nice. It's amazing.
Definitely,
It's amazing.
Definitely. You've got loads to offer as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everyone's got something to
we
offer.
try to. You try to just exchange. And
definitely.
That was the whole point of this, like try to collect eyes and then put them on something cool,
Definitely. And I think people learn a lot, especially from your podcast. I mean, I've been watching them recently. I'm sure you guys obviously watch them. But there's a lot of good content in there and people learn something. And, I think it's good to have that outlet.
I will start to add some more of the like short sort of version clip videos and stuff soon as well. So I'm working on all that stuff. And I found a software to do subtitles and stuff. Because to subtitle an hour and a half is like, I can't do that.
I guess someone's doing mine now.
It's like a full-time job. It's like a full-time job. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. But beautiful. Let's get so we're going from 2 restaurants now to pop-up.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll let this one sit for a little bit longer.
It looks,
It's a little bit crazy. 2 restaurants.
Yeah.
One wasn't working so well. You moved to Xinyi.
Yeah.
Now it's going well. Danshui is going well. Xinyi is going well. Then you decide, let's do some pop-ups.
So it was actually at the time of the when coronavirus first started, actually.
Really?
And I still do it, actually.
Wow.
I like to sell I like to sell scones at the front of our shop in Danshui. I do it still, even when the weather gets a bit cooler. I like to go every weekend.
Super like Mexican style. We do that. We love it.
It's fun, right? Yeah, you get to meet the customers,
awesome.
and that's a really important part of our job as well, to listen to what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and I want to talk to people, So I remember I was there one day, it must have been about 2-3 years ago, and this guy came up to me and he said, "Oh, we like your scones, and here's my card. We don't know if you're interested in a little stall in Santrong, which is the like a camera place, isn't it? Like a camera department store."
Yep.
So I just had a feeling this guy's pretty cool. He seemed really nice, very genuine, not like a sales guy, So I took the cards and told my husband. He said, "Oh, I've seen some of these before. You know what I mean? It looks like a lot of money, a lot of tax, probably. So." Yeah. But he kept calling. He kept calling our store, like, "Oh, it's me again. I just wondered if you're interested to come and chat to us. Yeah." So we went and checked it out. Seemed quite nice. He gave us a good deal. So we were there. We were in Santrong for, I think, 4 months. Business wasn't great. But Sogo saw us in Santrong, and Sogo gave us a call and said, "Oh, don't know if you're interested in doing like a temporary 1-month pop-up." It was on the 9th floor in Sogo.
Hi guys. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye. Take care. It was on the 9th floor in Sogo. Not a great location, but it was fun. And it was like, wow, there's something different,
Yeah.
But
it's
there was
fresh.
Yeah,
right?
it was
You're
fresh.
like,
Yeah.
Okay.
We went there. It wasn't that great, but then I think another department store approached a similar kind of thing and just said, "You want to do?" It kind of went from there. It was kind of like one did, and then we went to Sogo. We got like a B1. It was the first big one we had. I thought it was going to be like the 9th floor. We didn't take many. We didn't sell many per day.
Yeah.
Within the first hour, we'd sold out, and I was like,
out.
"Shit!" And Sogo were like, "No, you can't sell out.
You can't sell out.
You're not
We're
like,
Sogo.
This is not a shop. You you can't sell out."
Yeah,
So I remember me and my husband, we worked like overnight, like just to try and get
like
ourselves.
Those college days, the all-nighters.
Oh, yeah, it was an all-nighter, making brownies,
okay.
making scones, making brownies, making
okay.
scones, and so we did that. So it kind of went from that, from one place to another. Then we got a full-time place in Sogo.
Love it.
And that was so-so. It didn't do so well. And now we're in a bar, which is in Xinyi, which is a full-time one, and a few pop-ups as well.
Amazing.
But it was, it's going okay. So far,
That's
so good.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
stay
good.
stable.
So do you feel happier with doing pop-ups, more pop-ups here, more pop-ups there?
Yeah.
Or like you're going to go for number 3? Which one is more appealing for you?
I think I quite like
Pop-ups
pop-ups.
are good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to be opening hopefully in Tainan next year.
Be careful, don't touch your eyes. Just yeah. Sorry.
That would be awful.
Yeah, that happens. It happens.
That'd be awful.
Sorry. Yeah.
But we're hopefully opening in Tainan next year, but that's just going to be a dessert. We want to go into the department stores in Tainan.
Nice.
So we're going to get a central kitchen and then go from there. So that's the plan anyway. We're training up a chef now from Tainan.
Okay.
So that's all in the plan.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Very cool. I love that. That's similar to what we wanted to do as well. I love that.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
fantastic.
I really think you do so well in department stores.
We got to try. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
Well, you've inspired me. We'll try it for sure.
You'd
After
be
I come
great.
back.
Yeah,
I got to see
Have
my
a
mom.
break first, right?
I need to see my mom.
Definitely. Most important.
Beautiful. I love it. Should we go for this?
Right, okay. So how
Are we
spicy
good?
is this? Like,
It's going to be way spicier than the last one. So this is Lucas's favorite. Yeah, this one right here. Yeah.
don't eat.
We specifically omitted it on the last one because it's his favorite. Yeah.
I can't wait. Right, look, let's
Beautiful.
try. You go.
Okay. You want me to take this one? I'll take
Yeah.
this one. Yeah. All right. So this is the last one. Thank you for coming. It's funny,
Thank you.
one of the things that most of the YouTubers and the customers and everybody say is, it's too long. The podcast is too long. But the time goes so fast. It's been an hour and 15 minutes.
No.
Right? It's crazy, right?
I could literally talk to
you
you
could talk
like
all day.
2-3 more hours.
Exactly, yeah. So
God.
so that means we get to do it again,
Yeah,
right?
nice, yeah.
So, but we'll eat this, and then we'll see how you feel about talking. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Enjoy.
Right,
Yeah.
thank
This
you.
is made with Carolina Reaper, which is like...
The word Reaper doesn't sound so great.
It's like... I did the research. It's this guy in Carolina who just eats really spicy, and he took like the hottest breeds of every hot bread pepper, and he like crossbred and created this crazy pepper. Yeah, so
Reaper, so
the Reaper. Yeah, so
could be
this
my
is
final
it.
day.
Yeah. There you go.
It's not hit yet.
Okay.
Oh no, that is
It's coming.
spicy. It's building.
It's
I
our
can feel
best-selling
it.
hot sauce as well. Not on wings. We don't really allow that, but yeah.
Do you sell these sauces?
We do.
On the wings, like,
We do, but like this one, we do like 3 and 3. Like we try not to sell that one because no one eats them. People are like, I want the spiciest. I'm like, you don't want that. They're like, I want the spiciest. I want 6. And I'm like, nobody can eat 6 of those.
Have you ever seen anyone eat 6 of those?
No, no one eats. No.
Oh, that is. I mean, it's nice tasting, but the spice is
It's crazy.
another level, isn't it? I mean, if you like spicy food, get that. But
Well, the reason is because we've had a lot of customers come in and they want like really spicy. And then it's like, Mexican food's supposed to be spicy. You don't have any spicy sauces. I'm like, well, I can make you something. It's like, yeah.
I'm
So
really
it's pretty
struggling,
rough.
actually.
Of course, it's rough. It's pretty rough, yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad taste. It's just
Yeah.
my tongue is on fire right now.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. There's no...
But I mean, some people love spicy food. I mean,
Yeah.
you must love it yourself, do you?
I do, but that's even too spicy for me. At the very beginning, we kind of went up to like sort of the last one's level. And there was a few people that went through it, and it was like... So I'm like, okay, I need to add one more level. And that was this.
That is like
Yeah.
spicy. Oh God! But you know what I always find with spicy food?
What's that?
You get like a rush afterwards. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. You get like high almost
Yeah,
off of,
I'm waiting
off
for that
of
to kick in.
spice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
But it is good. If you like
Thank you.
spicy food, try it. But it's not for the faint of heart.
And don't touch your eyes. Do you need another horchata? I'm okay. I'm
No,
okay.
good. Thank
No,
you very
thanks.
much.
No,
Very
thanks,
kind though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That, yeah, spicy.
Lucas could eat 6. That's what. That's
Could
what.
you? Seriously?
That's what it says. Yes. That's right.
Oh my God.
So I saw one of your last mooncake videos with Mama Lucy. Tell me
Right.
about the inspiration for that. Beautiful.
I've
If
been
you
wanting to
can
do it
talk.
for years
Let's-
actually.
yeah?
And
Okay.
because I'm not a sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not a mooncake lover, actually. I think when I first came to Taiwan, it was all the egg yolks.
I've had some really bad ones as well. Yeah, yeah, for
Right,
sure,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
egg yolks, pork floss. Are you struggling to?
It's every week, and I'm like, no, it's not gonna hurt this
Just
week.
every week. Wow.
I do.
Cheers to you. That's good. Oh. But yeah, I didn't like mooncakes, and I just really wanted to give it a go because whenever a lot of people give you them every year, and you kind of feel you want to be part of the culture, And I
Yeah.
kind of blocked that off. I'm like, no, I'm not trying them
I'm
anymore.
done.
Yeah.
I'm done with them.
And I
Yeah.
had a conversation with Mama Lucy, which is also an amazing YouTuber.
Yes, I saw her channel.
And she was like, I'm the same. The first year I was so put off.
Yeah, it's all right. Do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah.
I was so put off. Should we give it another go? So I just researched the best mooncakes in Taiwan. Thought, why not? Let's give it another go.
Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs. Oh wow, that was something else. That was amazing.
Of course. Yeah,
so have you tried the Haagen-Dazs ones?
I tried them way back, and I also tried Starbucks. They also had one way back.
Oh, that sounds
good.
They
were
too.
Great. They were really good. Yeah.
Were they also ice cream kind of like?
Yeah.
But they were great. And I was surprised. I actually like the green bean one. That was nice.
Green. Yeah. I actually, one of my kitchen guys, his wife works at like a famous bakery, I guess in Shilin, and they brought some.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is like a super famous, got a lineup type deal. Hold on, Rita. Sorry, that drives me nuts. Yeah. Yeah, and they brought some, and I was like, oh no. You know the feeling? It's like, oh no.
You're like, oh no, a whole big box.
And then he's like, no, these are really good. These are really good. And I'm like,
But they always say that.
But they always say like, oh, but this is like a G by Kwai.
Yeah.
Ika G by Kwai, right? And I'm just like, yeah, I know, but and they were actually really good.
Nice.
So
what were they?
And it had like the egg yolk thing, and it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Good.
And this was 3 weeks ago, so it was very recent, and it was very good.
So change your mind about
change my mind
because
I've had a lot of really bad dry.
Yes.
Not flavored.
I think
ones,
it's the dryness of them, isn't it?
Yeah,
You just feel it's just a lot. And the calorie apparently is like 500-600 calories in one cake.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So
for me,
if
I'm gonna have the calories, I'm gonna have like
a chocolate cake or something.
Chocolate cake or Reese peanut butter cups
what
or
I
something.
say.
Right?
Like, if you're gonna have the calories,
I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's not gonna be like, boo, how I'm gonna eat this thing.
Yeah, and then you think, God, I've already eaten my day's
awful.
calories in a
now
cake.
My calories, exactly. I mean, it's harder. The older you get, it's harder to keep that belly off.
Oh, my nose is a little bit.
You good? Oh yeah, just don't touch your, especially with that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you made it all the way through the end. It was awesome to have you. It was awesome to finally meet you. We'll definitely do it again.
Oh, definitely.
I'm 100% down to go. I can bring the setup to your place. We can do something there.
Oh my gosh,
Thanks, man.
I would love that. It'd be amazing. I have so much more I want to talk to you about as
And
well.
I would love to be on your channel.
Oh,
I mean,
wonderful.
Anything,
definitely.
whatever
so
you
we'll
want to
organise them in the next few weeks.
Sounds
when
great.
you're free,
Yeah,
we'll
for
do
sure.
something on my channel. Chat, and I think we've got so much in common.
I
Listening
know.
to you today is
It's
just
so
like
crazy,
a male version of myself. It is so
It's
cool.
crazy because when I went to Lucas's studio and I was telling my story, he was like, it's basically the same story.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Even
well,
the little
really?
details
well,
as well, like so similar.
Crazy.
Like,
and like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I'm so happy to meet you as well. Like,
I'm happy to meet
we
you
get
too.
to have this like
Yes,
interaction.
me too.
Let's make more.
And
more
I'm
of
so
them.
happy that I did this channel because I don't know if I've ever would have met you guys, and it's so cool to meet good people. It's just awesome. I think
Likewise
so.
as well.
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Thanks so
Very
much.
nice to meet you and chat.
I always my like weakness is I always forget to tell people to subscribe. I always forget. So if you guys had a good time, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I know I always forget, but please do that. And also, if you want to check out Britshake, the link is in the description below. And also the link to your YouTube channel is also in the description below.
So
check out her channel. Check out her food. I'm going to go off air and I'm going to eat a brownie. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching the show. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you as well.
See you guys next week.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.